God desires to ease your pain. So many people I know are in some kind of spiritual pain. Maybe we all are to some degree. Maybe it's based on a continuum. But I was reminded of a beautiful passage in Scripture this week, 1 Peter 5:7, that says this: "Cast your cares on God because God cares for you." I think we need to settle in our minds once and for all, or at least practice more consistently, and get rid of any image of God where we view God as harsh, vindictive, angry, punishing, and uncaring. And I was reminded of a beautiful song this past week. It's kind of a new song I've heard. I'm not a big country western fan, but it's by a man named Townes Van Zandt. And the title of the song is called "If I Needed You." And actually, Lyle Lovett does a beautiful rendition of it. But in this song, it made this verse come alive for me. It's kind of a modern day lament, kind of a longing for ease in pain and healing. And Townes Van Zandt, I believe, was an alcoholic, and he actually died from alcoholism at a young age. But in this song, it's so beautiful in the first couple of stanzas in the chorus because he gets it. And I hear in him a cry, a prayer, and also God responding. So I want to share this song with you today, and I'll speak it here, and then I'll even put a clip of the video. But it goes like this: "If I needed you." He sings this in the first line, and I picture and hear him saying it to God and praying it to God, and then I hear God responding. He says, "If I needed you, would you come to me? Would you come to me and ease my pain?" And I don't know what you're facing or what you're going through or those that you know, but everybody's in some kind of spiritual pain to some degree. And that's the cry of our hearts, isn't it? If I needed you, God, would you come to me? And that word if I needed you, talks about a humbleness and a seeking and a yearning for maybe only what God can give. Would you come to me? That's the question of our hearts. God, would you come to me and ease the suffering? And then in the second line, I hear God saying this in what he wrote. God says, "If you needed me, I would come to you. I would swim the seas for to ease your pain." That beautiful image of God that we get, that God goes to extravagant lengths to communicate God's love to us through Christ, through the life of Christ. Even now, through God's Spirit, swimming the seas, no barrier, no obstacle to God getting through to us to ease our pain, to communicate his love, if we open to it, if we allow it. What that passage, I stand at the door and knock, if we open our hearts, our minds, and our spirits. There's also a passage in the Old Testament that says, Jeremiah 29:11, God says this to you and I: "I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God's plan is not to harm us, to make us suffer, or to ask us to sacrifice and be miserable. God's plan is for a full, abundant life of love. So may you cast your cares on God today. And I mean cast them. And know that God comes to you and ministers to your spirit to soothe your soul and your spirit. So cast your cares and don't reel them back and reel them back in, but let them go and know that God is coming to care for you and to love you. So until next time, may you live all the days of your life.